Here, let's bring in our panel. Christina Bobb, attorney at Judicial Watch, a former attorney for the president. She also served as a judge advocate in the Marine Corps. Her best-selling book right there, Defiant, it is a must-read. And we're pleased to have former Israeli national spokesperson Eylon Levy with us. There's a lot of news that is breaking. We expect more any moment from Caroline Levitt to bring some more clarity. I want to start first, Christina, from the legal standpoint. You know, Chuck Schumer's out here saying war powers, build a lasting peace. It looks like President Trump is doing more than any president has to try and rein in Iran. And we're in this situation because people like Obama sent them billions of dollars in cash, making it even harder. What do you make of the hypocrisy here as Chuck Schumer says it's doing hard work and he's sitting there on a 2-week recess with DHS completely shut down?
Yeah, exactly. If he was that worried about it, they would be voting today. You know, it would be an emergency, but they're all on vacation. So there's nothing illegal about what President Trump has done. Congress actually was the one that authorized the president to do all of this. They gave him the authorized use of military force that has been in existence for a long time. They continue to renew it, which they have done. So if they want to repeal it, if they want to say, OK, we're withdrawing that, they can. I don't think he's going to be successful at doing that, but he can try. So there's no real legal issue here. Chuck Schumer seems to be preparing for the midterms and trying to create talking points and kind of gaslight people into thinking that there's an issue here. There's not. He is allowed to try to force a vote, but that's really all it is.
You know, it's talk versus actions. Okay, and President Trump is doing actions. Eylon, there's a breaking story right now. It's crossing the AP wire saying Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz. Why? Israel's attacks on Lebanon. That is Iranian state media. You know, the White House, I'm sure we'll hear it again, saying that Lebanon was not part of this ceasefire plan, but Iran, of course, wants to make it that way, now wants to potentially put this ceasefire in jeopardy. Your reaction, Eylon?
Yeah, there is no ceasefire in effect. I found out that President Trump announced the ceasefire because there were missile sirens in Tel Aviv at 2 o'clock in the morning. And we woke up 3 times in the middle of the night because of sirens, the Iranian regime attacking the UAE, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and still blockading the Strait of Hormuz. This is a reminder that the Iranian regime doesn't want to play ball. It's no friend of the United States. Its strategy is to try to blackmail the United States, hold the global economy hostage in order to extort advantages that will allow it to continue its aggression against the United States, against Israel, against America's allies in the region. A reminder, we're not dealing with good faith actors here. It's the same fundamentalist, fanatical regime that was swearing death to Israel and death to America.
Yeah, and I think President Trump, as he put out on that Truth Social, and clearly knows that, you know, we're negotiating with terrorists who, Christina, they don't care if they live or die. That's been part of the problem when you negotiate with Iranians, that they will tell people to go and make human change. They have a blackout on the people who are there who could potentially rise up against them. Maybe this is all changing. Your hope, Christina, for where the next 2 weeks goes. Pakistan obviously is saying come to Islamabad. We can have more talks, and that could happen Friday, maybe with J.D. Vance, maybe not.
Well, I'm very hopeful that this is going to get resolved and resolved well. Now that we're really into the economics of it, a lot of the sticking points seem to be the tolls, the sanctions, you know, the real economic piece of this. And I don't think there's anybody better than President Trump to negotiate economics. Where there may be some daylight between what Israel wants with Lebanon and what President Trump wants with the economics of it, and that's something, you know, they're going to have to work through that because making sure that this comes down to Iran not having nuclear weapons, which was what, you know, we were all led to believe this began with, you know, making sure that they accomplish all of their objectives. I think President Trump's in a good spot to do that now. So I'm actually very hopeful. I think this will end soon, quickly.